It's truly a great time to be a Southern Baptist in Michigan. For the last several years, we have worked under what I would call kind of a carryover budget year to year with only minor changes. But God has been leading us through a season of growth and change since COVID, adopting a new constitution and bylaws, refining our strategy and vision to help our churches take their next step to accelerate gospel movement, and focusing on our mission to strengthen and start churches. At the same time, our national partners, North American Mission Board, IMB, and others are reshaping how they fund and how they carry out missions and ministries around the world. And because of this, I believe it's the right time for a budget that fully reflects who we are and what we aim to do. We are proposing a budget of $1,280,000 of cooperative program giving from our churches. This is less than last year's, and that comes from us knowing that we have had a few churches change their giving strategy to cooperative program giving this year, and we know that will affect our giving in the year ahead. Our budget this year will focus on really putting an increased amount of priority in church strengthening. In the past years, we've budgeted $12,500 dedicated to that work, and that simply, I believe, is not enough for the need that we have here. Our Michigan churches need our help to make them stronger, and we are doing our very best to make that happen and accomplish our mission. Through prayer, planning, and careful stewardship, we're making adjustments to invest more directly in Michigan churches while keeping our strong commitments to planting and missions. Here's how we're going to make that happen. We have 4 key steps that are going to help us. Number 1, wise stewardship. We've eliminated $50,000 in annual marketing costs by bringing that work in-house and by hiring Dan Dameron as our communications director. He does much more than just marketing for us. And so that was a huge savings. Number 2, efficient accounting. We are switching our accounting services this year to Water's Edge. By the way, they already handle all of our foundation money and all of our investments. And now they're going to be handling our accounting, our week-to-week and day-to-day accounting. And so that has helped us and is going to help us save almost another $50,000 annually. The third thing we're going to do is modernizing our contracts. By modernizing efficiencies in our contracts, renegotiating our copier contract and other small contracts, we're going to save about another $9,000 per year. The last thing, strategic cooperative program giving. We're adjusting our CP giving, suggesting that for 26, our CP would be 30% of our budget plus 50% of everything that comes in over budget going directly to cooperative program giving. All the giving that comes in over budget, we would give half of that to CP. This keeps us among the leaders in CP giving across the Midwest while ensuring we serve our churches effectively here in Michigan. These steps are going to allow us to do 4 things. Number 1, it's going to increase our church strengthening funding to $80,000 annually. Number 2, it's also going to raise our church planning and starting budget to $80,000 annually. All the while continuing our full commitment to Bambi Lake at $100,000 per year. All in all, we will invest directly in Michigan churches while still giving significantly globally through the cooperative program giving. Just to give some perspective on this, let me tell you what has shaped our thinking in budgeting our income. We budget right now $63,000 for church starting, in addition to the thousands of dollars that comes directly from NAM to our church starts and our church pastors. We budget $100,000 for Bambi Lakes, which some would argue is about church strengthening, and by the way, I think they're right in that. But to pigeonhole all $100,000 right there may not be the best use of our money, but we're not suggesting cutting Bambi Lake. We made a commitment to support them, and we're going to continue with that commitment. Let's look at our cooperative program giving history. Let me help you see the thoughts behind the big one that we're talking about adjusting right now is the 30% for cooperative program. Around 8 years ago, Brother Tim Patterson began moving us from, I believe, 27.5% headed up to become a 50-50 state convention, which means half of the money that our churches give would go to CP. And we all love that idea, by the way. But when we got to 35%, we just could not go higher. If we wanted to have any money to function here in Michigan and really invest in our churches, we just couldn't go higher. But also keep in mind, at that time when we were giving 35%, and we're still doing that right now, We were also had a church evangelism and health director, Mike Durbin. Some of you will remember Mike, but his salary was being funded about $100,000 a year of total cost to employ by the North American Mission Board. They also funded Tony Lynn as our church starting strategist, but a portion of his time was also working for the Baptist State Convention of Michigan, another $15,000 or $20,000 annually. And then at the end of 24, that all ended. And NAM was rethinking how they were going to spend their money, and we totally support that, by the way. We're not upset about it. We're fine with them rethinking that. Actually, I'm just grateful that they were able to fund Mike for several years beyond what they had committed to originally. But it does end up changing our ability out of this office to be able to minister and help our churches along the way. By the way, 30% cooperative program will put us among leaders in CP giving in the Midwest. I think Ohio, Missouri, and Iowa, they would be the only states that have an effective rate higher than that. In fact, 2 execs from southern states grabbed me at my first meeting with them and pulled me aside and said, listen to us. We want you to avoid making the mistake that many new execs make, and that is trying to copy the southern states and be a 50-50 CP giving state. They said, please be realistic and do not overburden your budget. A small amount in your budget can make a huge difference in the churches in your state. So you're going to see in the 26 proposed budget that we're suggesting a CP amount of 30% of our budget giving. But we're also suggesting that anything that comes in above budget, we would give 50% to CP. We're going to budget for what we believe we'll spend and what we believe that we're actually going to get. This will allow us to raise, again, our Michigan investments in strengthening our churches to $80,000 a year from $12,500, and also raise our church starting budget to $80,000 a year, all the while keeping our commitment to Bambi Lake at the full level that we've agreed on. We are working to add more churches also to our convention. This year, we have added through new church plants and other churches who have come alongside and said, we want to join the Baptist State Convention of Michigan. We've added 14 new churches. And so I hope this helps you see that this budget really launches us forward to accelerate gospel movement in Michigan and beyond. Be sure to join us, by the way, on October 16th at 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. We have some Zoom meetings where we're going to be answering all your questions about this budget. So please make it a priority to join us for one of these town halls. Thanks again for taking time to follow along with me this long. I look forward to seeing you soon on Zoom. God bless all of you. I am super excited for where God is taking myself and you and our churches into the future with the Baptist State Convention of Michigan.